Why would I get married? Why?
Yeah.
There's no actual reason to get married. It can complicate things. I have some friends that just have a woman they love and they had kids and they just didn't get married. I find them happier than those that get married.
There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but I feel like once you put the marriage title on it, there's just this
like
added pressure
too, right? Yeah.
that like the relationship doesn't need.
Did you hear about this new food that like completely destroys sex drive in women?
No.
Wedding cake.
Today we're diving into some hard truths about the modern woman and why men are waking up and walking away. If you're tired of the lies and double standards, you're in the right place. Before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any more real talk. Let's get into it.
Do you think that American women are unmarriageable?
Oh, this one's probably going to get banned, but I'm going to answer the question because she is asking a legitimate question, and I love that she is, to be honest with you, but I know my answer is going to trigger some people. The answer is yes, American women have become unmarriageable. And it's not really for the reasons you're talking about. You talk about being promiscuous and all that. Honestly, I could care less what somebody does. What it is they don't respect us. They don't respect us as men. They don't respect us as human beings. They have this preconceived notion of what we're supposed to be, which is perfect. They have all their criteria that no man could ever meet. And even if he managed to, they'd create new criteria that, again, he could never meet. So yes, marriage is done. We've walked away. Dating is done. We're done. That's where it's at. Enjoy.
So, all right, let me hit you with some cold, hard truth. The question was, are American women unmarriageable? And I know this answer is going to trigger some people, but it's got to be said. Yes, American women have become unmarriageable. And it's not for the reasons you might think. It's not about promiscuity or whatever people usually point fingers at. I don't care about that. The real issue is they don't respect men. Period. They don't see us as human beings. They've got this preconceived notion of what we're supposed to be, perfect in every way. They've set criteria that no man can meet, and if by some miracle he does, they'll just move the goalposts and create new standards he can never live up to. Marriage is dead. Guys have walked away and dating is done. We're finished. That's where things stand now. Women can't expect men to bend over backward for a relationship when they don't bring respect to the table. And you know what? That's the truth, and it needs to be said.
What does a guy get from a woman that he couldn't get from a cook, a cleaner, and a hooker?
So this is what internalized misogyny looks like. This woman jumped out there and said the only thing that women bring to the table are cooking and cleaning and intimacy. See, pick-me's have to exist so that men can have women to point to and say, see, it's not just us. Women feel like this too. She don't represent us. Hey, Siri, who lives longer, married men or single men?
Here's what I found from harvard.edu. Statistics on marriage and health show that married men are healthier than unmarried or divorced men and are also more likely to live longer.
So while y'all out here worried about cooking and cleaning, good women out here adding years to your life. So why don't you go and see if you can get that from a cook, a cleaner, and a hooker?
So I understand what she's saying. So what she doesn't understand is that these men now, they're waking up. They're realizing, holy shit, if I get married, I could end up in divorce and she could take half my shit. That is the real question. See, what she's missing here, it's not that men don't want to get married, it's that men don't want to get fucked through divorce.
So this woman jumps out and says, what does a guy get from a woman that he couldn't get from a cook, a cleaner, or a hooker? And people are calling this internalized misogyny. But let's be real for a second. The truth is, a lot of women out there are doing just that, acting like the only things they bring to the table are cooking, cleaning, and intimacy. And trust me, men are waking up to it. The real question isn't whether men want to get married. It's that men don't want to get screwed over in divorce. See, these days guys are looking around and realizing, holy shit, if I get married and things go south, she could take half my stuff. That's what this woman doesn't get. Men aren't avoiding marriage because they don't believe in relationships. They're avoiding it because the system is rigged against them. Divorce courts are built to strip men of their resources, their time, their kids, everything. You've got women talking about how they add years to men's lives, but let me tell you, most men today aren't buying it. Why would they when they know the risks? Guys are looking for real value, not a situation where they're working hard only to have it taken away in a heartbeat. It's not about cooking and cleaning, it's about avoiding getting screwed over by the system. That's the real reason men are walking away from marriage today.
Do we need men? Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
No?
We don't need short men.
Do you need a man?
No.
Need a man?
Oh, God.
Do you need a man?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
No.
Do we need men?
No.
No? Do we need men?
We need men to make us stupid.
Do we need men? Do we need men? Do women need men in this world?
Young liberal women are some of the least informed, most discriminatory people out there. And it's like, I look at single guys and honestly, I get it. If I were a guy single looking at like people like this as my dating prospects, I 100% would be running the other way. We'll see if these women are still so keen on not needing men 20 years in the future when all they have are their cats in their...
You've got all these young liberal women saying, do we need men? No, over and over again. They act like men are completely unnecessary, like men are just here to make them stupid or something. But here's the truth. These women are some of the least informed, most discriminatory people out there. And let's be real, if I was a single guy looking at this as my dating pool, I'd be running the other way too. No wonder so many men are walking away from modern dating. They're looking at these women who keep saying they don't need men, and they're thinking, why would I even bother? But give it 20 years. Let's see if these women are still so proud of not needing men when they're sitting alone with nothing but their cats and wine. You don't need men, fine. We'll see how that plays out when the reality sets in.
Have you ever cheated before? You're lying. I can read characters very well.
Gotcha.
There was a gentleman here named Nick. He was explaining to everyone how the show is going to proceed and giving us the basics on, how to be respectful, in other words. There was one person who was not paying attention while he was talking. Who was that?
That was me.
That was you.
Yeah.
So out of everyone sitting here, why are you the one that's sitting here being disrespectful when he's taking out his time to show you how to best present yourself in front of millions of people?
Because I was turning off my alarm, yeah, and I didn't want to forget to do it later.
Sure, I hear you. Because you're a disrespectful person and you were
Okay.
rude.
I don't think I said anything disrespectful. I mean,
I agree with you.
From.
I agree that you think you weren't being disrespectful because that's your actual nature.
I don't know
So,
how being on
back
my
to your
phone
point.
correlates to cheating. That's ridiculous. Like, be real right now.
A lot of things will be hard for you to comprehend. That's why you're in sex work, because you can't offer value in the marketplace.
What the
Yeah, no, if you have legitimate...
I think I have a lot more to offer than just being on OnlyFans.
If you had
that I started.
Now, out of everyone in the room, why's she the one being disrespectful when someone's giving them the basics on how to present themselves? Her excuse? She was turning off her alarm. Yeah, right. And then she tries to act like it's no big deal, saying she wasn't disrespectful. But here's the kicker. That's exactly her nature. She doesn't even realise it because that's who she is. That's why she's in sex work. She doesn't bring value to the marketplace in any other way. She's out here acting like she's got more to offer, but if she really did, she wouldn't be where she is now. Facts. That's the brutal reality she doesn't want to face. You don't offer real value, so don't be surprised when people call it out.
We're painfully single. The only romance in our lives is in the fake scenarios we imagine to fall asleep. We're painfully single. Our expectations are so high, the only men that could reach them are fictional. We're painfully single. We're convinced that the boy we saw at the airport 5 years ago and never saw again was our soulmate.
You've almost got it. Let's keep tugging at this string here. Are we starting to maybe see a pattern? All of the behaviors you've described involve, if not avoiding men entirely, projecting fantasy elements onto unsuspecting himbos that you'll never see again so that you don't have to face the reality of the actual human conditions and the imperfections that lie within it. Wait, so refusing to talk to anybody who isn't a wealthy 6'4" librarian who's obsessed with cooking and cleaning and won't let you lift a finger hasn't been rewarding and empowering for you as a woman? What you are describing is called escapism, and a little bit of gentle escapism can be nice. That's why we like video games and books and sitting on the toilet until our feet go numb, but too much of it will just keep us lonely.
So women have always gone after men who had more money and resources. That's how it's been for centuries. Now these so-called strong independent feminists are still out here doing the same thing, only wanting men who have more money than they do. Here's the irony. They act like they're breaking the mold, but in reality, they're using the exact same thinking as women have throughout all of history. It's the same old game, just wrapped up in a new package. The logic is flawed, and they don't even see it. Nothing's changed. They just don't want to admit it.
My channel is pretty much built for women to become better partners for their husbands or for their boyfriends. And a lot of women hate my channel. If you hate my personality, that's one thing. But if you hate my message of how to be a great partner, and then look in the mirror and say, why don't I have a great husband? I think we just found the answer. Sorry.
Women play the victim card all their lives to get what they want. Financial gain, attention. Or just to dodge consequences. It's a tactic, and it works. But now they're taking it even further. Women as a whole are out here raising boys to believe they're toxic, that they're somehow evil just for being masculine. They're on a mission to tear down traditional masculinity, to strip away every trait that made men who they are. It's about devaluing men, making them feel worthless. But here's the truth. Masculinity built the world, and no amount of playing the victim is going to change that.
To the mgtow movement, or men going their own way, a phenomenon that has emerged in response to the evolving relationship dynamics in the West. Born out of a sense of disillusionment with traditional relationships, mgtow is a social statement where men choose to prioritize their own happiness and independence over traditional relationships. They're choosing to live life on their own terms, free from societal pressures and expectations. This shift has brought about a mixed bag of reactions. Some Western women express dissatisfaction, feeling that this could be a step backwards in the push for gender equality. Others see it as a wake-up call, a prompt to reevaluate expectations in relationships. This movement has certainly stirred up a lot of discussion on relationship dynamics. It's a testament to the fact that as society evolves, so too do our concepts of relationships and what they should entail. The mgtow movement, whether you agree with it or not, is a clear indication of this evolution. But remember, it's all about finding the balance that works for you and respecting the choices of others.
At this point, everyone knows what's been going down in the public school systems across Western nations. Women run the show there. It's no secret. And what's happening? Men are constantly portrayed in the media as incompetent, overly aggressive, and straight up unethical. This narrative is being pushed everywhere, and it's clear there's an agenda. They're trying to make men look weak, like we're the problem. But the reality is, they're scared of what real masculinity stands for.
Would you rather one evening with me or a year's supply of this sandwich?
Let me tell you something, a pastrami sandwich never asked me to Uber them home at 3 a.m. A pastrami sandwich never gave me no lip or attitude. A pastrami sandwich.
Men are in trouble. Girls these days are too arrogant.
I choose sandwich.
These poor men. Somebody said pastrami. Oh my god. Pastrami for a night or pastrami sandwiches for a year. Somebody else said the best part of a pastrami is that it lets you eat it in peace. I actually didn't realize there was a sexual innuendo in that one. I was just like, oh, you just get to eat in peace.
All right, let's get straight to it. The modern Western woman is no longer an ideal worth fighting for or protecting. The best way to handle this? Get out of the way. Just like avoiding a punch, the best defense is to not even be there when it strikes. Here's the reality I've learned. Women value money above all else. A guy could be handsome, young, skilled, charismatic, even a great lover. But if he's not stacking cash like she is, he's worth less. That's how these women see it. Meanwhile, society paints women as virtuous and peaceful, when in reality, they're often the ones manipulating men into violence, all while pushing this narrative that men are the aggressive, destructive ones. Look at the stats. How many men have been murdered or beaten up because of women? Way too many. Women are trained from birth to be master manipulators. And here's the kicker. Western women have more privilege today than any man in history, yet they still scream about some so-called patriarchy. Give me a break. Feminism has been training women to be men, pushing them into masculine roles, especially in careers. But that's why their personal lives are falling apart. A feminine woman and a man fit together like a nut and bolt, but a masculine woman with a man, that's two bolts trying to connect. It doesn't work. These women might disguise their masculine nature long enough to get married, but eventually it comes out. They compete for dominance in the home and boom, irreconcilable differences, leading to divorce. Women trying to be men at home? That's why divorce rates are so high. Men and women have distinct roles, meant to complement each other, not compete. Men lead, women support. That's how it's supposed to be. Look around. Women today complain non-stop despite having life handed to them on a silver platter. Most homeless people. Men. More likely to be assaulted, murdered, or thrown in prison? Men. Yet women face almost no accountability for their actions. Men are forced into military service, while women get to enjoy the prestige of serving without doing the dangerous jobs men do. It's a joke, And what do men do? They're getting passports, finding foreign women who actually know how to be feminine without the baggage. Older Western women don't realise that no decent man wants to deal with their desperation. If she's a mess, that's on her. You're not here to fix her life. And don't even get me started on the double standards in healthcare. Prostate cancer kills men at 3 times the rate of breast cancer. But all we hear about are women's issues. Try finding a dedicated men's clinic. And men, they're more likely to die by suicide, don't live as long, and end up outnumbered by women in nursing homes. Yet the world still caters to women at every turn. Scholarships, grants, and support systems have driven men out of higher education. The game's rigged, and men are waking up. Time to opt out and take control of your own life.